I was 34 years old when I realized I'd been dying quietly for 2 years, and no one had noticed because I was too good at my job. The awareness hit me on a Tuesday morning in March as I sat in my corner office, looking out at the city skyline while my assistant knocked on my door with the news that I'd just been promoted to senior vice president, the youngest SVP in the company's history. She said with genuine excitement, "A real success story." I smiled and thanked her, scheduled the celebratory lunch with my team, and sent the appropriate text messages to family and friends. Then I closed my door, sat back down at my desk, and felt absolutely nothing. Not joy, not pride, not satisfaction, not even relief. Just the familiar hollow space where emotions used to live. The emptiness that had taken up residence in my chest somewhere around the time my marriage fell apart and never quite moved out. This promotion represented everything I'd been working toward for 8 years. Corner office, 6-figure salary, direct reports, influence over company strategy. I should have been celebrating, calling my parents, planning something special to mark the milestone. Instead, I opened my laptop and started working on the quarterly budget review because work was the only thing that felt manageable anymore. Work had rules, deadlines, clear metrics for success. Work didn't require me to feel anything beyond competence. My phone buzzed with a text from my sister. "Mom told me about your promotion. We should celebrate this weekend." I typed back, "Thanks, let me check my schedule and get back to you." But I already knew I wouldn't get back to her. I'd been saying, "Let me check my schedule" for months now, using work as an excuse to avoid social obligations that felt impossible to navigate while pretending to be a person who experienced normal human emotions. The truth was, my schedule was completely under my control. I worked 60-hour weeks not because anyone required it, but because those 60 hours were the only time I felt like I was accomplishing something, like my existence had some measurable value. At home, in my empty apartment with its carefully curated furniture and unwatched Netflix queue, I was just a woman sitting alone with her thoughts, and my thoughts had become dangerous territory. That evening, my friend Rachel called to congratulate me on the promotion. "Sarah, this is amazing. I'm so proud of you. You've worked so hard for this." "Thank you. I'm pretty excited about it." I delivered the line with the right amount of enthusiasm, the same way I'd been delivering all my lines for the past 2 years, like an actress who'd memorized her part so well that she could perform it while thinking about completely different things. "We should go out this weekend," Rachel said. "Really celebrate properly." "I'd love to. But this promotion means I'm going to be swamped for the next few weeks getting up to speed on the new responsibilities." "Sarah, you've been swamped for months. When's the last time you did something just for fun?" When was the last time? I couldn't remember. Fun required energy, engagement, the ability to experience pleasure. I'd been operating on competence and caffeine for so long that I'd forgotten what enjoyment felt like. I know, things will settle down soon. But things never settled down because I kept them deliberately unsettled. Busy was safe. Busy meant I didn't have to sit with the growing awareness that I felt like a stranger in my own life. After Rachel hung up, I sat on my couch with a glass of wine I wouldn't finish, looking at my calendar for the next day. Back-to-back meetings from AM to PM, then a networking event I'd committed to months ago, then home to review presentations for the following day's client calls. It was a schedule that would have energized me 3 years ago. Now it just looked like another day of performing competence while feeling like I was drowning in slow motion. My phone rang again. This time it was my mother. "Sarah, honey, congratulations. Your father and I are so proud of you." "Thanks, Mom. You sound tired. Are you getting enough sleep?" This was the closest anyone had come in months to noticing that something might be wrong. But tired was easy to explain away. Tired was what successful people were supposed to be. Just a busy time at work. You know how it is. Well, don't work yourself to death, sweetheart. Success isn't worth sacrificing your health. If only she knew that work wasn't the thing killing me. Work was the thing keeping me alive, the only structure holding together a life that felt like it was slowly disintegrating from the inside. "I'll be careful," I promised, another line I'd perfected. After my mother hung up, I sat in the silence of my apartment and tried to remember when I'd started feeling like this. When had the daily experience of being alive become something to endure rather than enjoy? It hadn't been sudden. There was no dramatic moment, no crisis that explained the gradual dimming of everything that used to matter to me. My divorce had been sad but amicable. My job was demanding but rewarding. My health was fine. My finances were solid. My life from the outside looked exactly like what a successful 34-year-old woman's life was supposed to look like. But from the inside, it felt like I was watching someone else live my life while I observed from a distance, going through the motions with increasing skill but decreasing connection to anything that was actually happening. I'd become excellent at being Sarah. I could deliver the right responses in meetings, make appropriate small talk at networking events, send thoughtful birthday cards to friends and family members. I could manage complex projects, lead team meetings, give presentations that impress clients and colleagues. What I couldn't do was feel genuinely excited about any of it, or remember why I'd wanted these things in the first place, or imagine a future that felt like something other than more of the same carefully managed emptiness. The next morning, I arrived at the office early as always and found my assistant had decorated my door with congratulations signs and arranged for a small celebration with my team. They'd ordered a cake, brought balloons, scheduled a group lunch. I spent the morning accepting congratulations from colleagues, taking photos for the company newsletter, and giving a brief speech about my vision for our department. I hit every note perfectly gracious, confident, inspiring. But as I looked around the room at the faces of people who worked for me, people who looked up to me as a leader, I realized that none of them actually knew me. They knew professional Sarah, the version of myself I'd constructed to navigate the workplace. They had no idea that personal Sarah had been slowly disappearing for months. During the lunch celebration, my director asked me about my goals for the next quarter. "I'm excited to focus on expanding our client base and implementing some new efficiency protocols," I said, because that was the kind of thing senior vice presidents were supposed to be excited about. But the truth was, I couldn't muster excitement about anything anymore. I could perform excitement, analyze what ought to be exciting, and deliver the appropriate responses. But actual enthusiasm, the kind that comes from genuine engagement with your work and your life, had become as foreign to me as speaking a language I'd never learned. "Sarah's always been our most driven team member," my director said to the group. "I've never met anyone who combines professional excellence with such positive energy." Positive energy. I wanted to laugh, or cry, or feel something other than the familiar hollow recognition that I'd become so good at pretending to be okay that even people who worked closely with me every day couldn't see that I was slowly drowning. That afternoon, I had a one-on-one meeting with Jennifer, one of my direct reports. She'd been struggling with a challenging project and seemed overwhelmed by the workload. "I feel like I'm barely keeping my head above water," she confided. "Some days, I wonder if I'm cut out for this kind of pressure." I found myself giving her the same advice I'd been giving myself for months. The key is to focus on what you can control. Break everything down into manageable tasks. Don't let the big picture overwhelm you. It was good advice, practical, actionable, the kind of guidance that had helped me maintain high performance even while feeling increasingly disconnected from everything I was performing. "How do you handle it?" Jennifer asked. "The stress, the long hours, the constant pressure, you always seem so together." I always seemed so together, because I'd learned to compartmentalize so effectively that even I sometimes forgot how much effort it took to maintain the facade of being a functional human being. "Practice," I said with a smile, "and good time management." After Jennifer left, I sat alone in my office and realized that I'd just advised someone else to do exactly what was slowly killing me, to focus so intensely on managing the mechanics of life that you forget to actually live it. That evening, instead of going to the networking event I'd committed to, I did something I hadn't done in months. I went home, ordered takeout, and sat on my couch without opening my laptop or checking my email. I called in sick the next day for the first time in over a year. Not because I had the flu or a migraine, but because I needed to stop moving long enough to acknowledge what I'd been avoiding. I was depressed, had been depressed for months, maybe longer. But I was high-functioning enough to hide it from everyone, including myself, behind a wall of professional achievement and social competence. I made an appointment with a therapist that afternoon. "Tell me what brought you here," Dr. Martinez said during our first session. "I got promoted this week to SVP, and I felt nothing about it. I realize I haven't felt much of anything for a long time, but you're still functioning well at work? Better than well. I'm excelling. I think that's part of the problem. Everyone sees my professional success and assumes I'm doing fine. I've started to assume I'm doing fine. What does a typical day look like for you?" I described my schedule: the early mornings, the packed calendar, the evening work, the constant motion that kept me from having to sit still with my own thoughts. "When do you rest?" "I don't really. Rest feels dangerous." "Dangerous how?" "When I'm not working, when I'm not busy, I start to notice how empty everything feels, how disconnected I am from my own life." Dr. Martinez nodded. "It sounds like work has become both your coping mechanism and your identity. You've learned to perform wellness so effectively that it's replaced actual wellness." Over the following weeks, I started to understand the difference between functioning and thriving, between managing depression and healing from it. I'd been treating my life like a complex project that required excellent management skills. I could execute tasks, meet deadlines, exceed expectations, but I'd lost touch with what any of it meant, why I was working toward these goals, what I actually wanted from the life I was so efficiently organizing. The hardest part wasn't acknowledging that I was depressed, it was acknowledging that I'd been using my competence as a way to avoid dealing with my depression. I started taking actual lunch breaks, leaving work at reasonable hours, and saying no to commitments that felt like obligations rather than opportunities. I told my sister about my therapy appointments, my parents about my struggles, Rachel about why I'd been declining social invitations. The responses surprised me, not shock or disappointment, but relief. "I've been worried about you," Rachel said. "You've seemed so distant lately. Like you were going through the motions of being yourself." I was going through the motions of being myself. "I'm proud of you for getting help." 6 months later, I'm still in therapy, still learning to distinguish between healthy productivity and the kind of busyness that serves as emotional avoidance. I'm still good at my job, still successful by external metrics, but now I'm also learning to be successful at being human, to feel things, to rest when I need to acknowledge that professional achievement doesn't automatically translate to personal fulfillment. The hardest lesson has been accepting that being high-functioning doesn't mean I'm not struggling, that I can be competent and depressed, successful and suffering, professional and in need of help. My mask was so convincing that I'd started to believe it myself. But masks are for protection, not for living. Now I'm learning to live without one, imperfectly but authentically, one day at a time.
Some stories are felt, not spoken. If unsaid stories moved you even a little, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Your support helps these unsaid stories find their voice